Hi everybody, it's Emily Korsh, your friendly neighborhood adventure racer, and I am here to talk to you today about shoes for adventure racing. I'm going to talk mostly about trekking shoes, touch on bike shoes a little bit, and then also foot care, socks, lube, gaiters, etc. So just to kind of give you an overarching point, in adventure racing, your feet are probably the most, besides your brain, they're probably the most important body part that you're going to use during an adventure race. You're going to be using them during all of your trekking sections, all of your biking sections, and then you kind of get a little break on the paddle. But it's just really, really important to take care of your feet and make sure they're functioning as best as they can during the race. So I'm going to just give you a couple tips to help that happen. It all really starts pre-race, so before the race you want to make sure to get plenty of time on your feet with about the weight that you plan on carrying during the race. So wearing a pack and just getting out for long runs, long hikes, long dog walks, like whatever it is. Just make sure you have plenty of time on your feet appropriate for your race distance. So if you're training for a 12-hour like the Off-Road Rage Adventure Race in Warsaw, Missouri on October 20th, maybe plan to kind of work up to, I don't know, several hours on your feet, 2 or 3 at least, more if your schedule allows it, because, you know, we're going to have at least that much trekking, and you'll have longer sections of trekking if you're getting lost or, you know, just hiking the whole thing instead of running. So just make sure your feet are appropriately conditioned for the race that you're planning to do. And that will just set you up for success. Your muscles in your feet will be accustomed to kind of the pounding that they get during an adventure race. Your calluses will be in the right spots. You'll make sure that your shoes and your socks all fit like that. So that's the really important thing, is train wisely pre-adventure race. So then for the actual day of the race, there's some things that you can do to kind of help your feet be the happiest that they can be. I start before every adventure race, I put on some foot lube. So usually what I use is a silicone based this is what I use. Gurney Goo. Here it is. Actually I said silicone, but I don't really actually see it on the ingredients list. But anyway, it's a lubricant. I get it on Amazon. But it's actually from New Zealand, where all good adventure racing comes from. So I just put this all over my feet, a thin coat, before, first thing in the morning, wake up, lube on your feet, put your socks on, and then you're good to go. Some other products that people have used and I've used in the past is this Run Goo stuff. That's really nice. And if you can only find Body Glide where you're at, use some Body Glide on your feet. But just put a coating of lubricant all over your feet. It'll help all of your kind of toes wiggle where they need to go. It'll help your socks slide appropriately. It'll help everything out. And then most of these lubes also help repel water from your foot. So when your feet get wet, it's not if, it's when they get wet, that'll kind of help shed some of the water away from your skin to prevent maceration, which leads to blisters and pain. So anyway, foot lube pre-race, very important. The second thing that you'll put on your feet is a pair of socks. This is it's almost like more personal preference than food. But I'm just going to share with you my personal preference. It's a very thin sock. So I've been using Swiftfoot socks for a while. They're made in USA from Tennessee. They come in lots of fun colors, but they're really thin. So I don't really know if you can kind of see this, but they're a thin layer. They fit pretty tight. There's like 0 padding in them. So if that kind of like makes sense to you, there's 0 padding. And the reason I don't like to have any padding is all that does is retain water. It just makes it harder for your feet to dry out if they have extra material around the foot area. So the most minimal sock that you feel comfortable with, that's what I would advise you to use. And for a 12-hour like the Off-Road Rage, I would just go with 1 pair of socks. You probably won't need to change them out. If especially because it's a short race. It's not forecast to be very cold. So I would use that for just one pair of socks, nice and thin. Start training with that in the month we have to go, and then use that during race day. Here's another option that's a little bit more fun color. If you guys are into colors and matching and all that stuff. So, thin to win. Thin socks. Next up is shoes. For this particular race, the Off-Road Rage, I'll probably go with this shoe. It's a Salomon Trail Runner, the Sense Pro. This is actually the men's shoe. I wear men's shoes because they fit my feet better. I kind of have some like wide parts of my feet. One of them has a bunion, so I just find that the men's shoe fits me better. So I just try to get like the fun colors before they're gone. But this one's black, not that fun, but it's a really great shoe. It's nice and light. I like the quick lace feature of it, so that you don't tie anything. You just slide this little keeper down tight on your foot, and then that and you tuck this extra string away, and then that tightens the shoe on your foot. The tread on it is pretty nice. You can see it's like it's there. It's not super aggressive. It's not a road running shoe, clearly. It's just exactly what I'm going for in my mountain bike tire. Something that's obviously has tread to it, will kind of give me a little bit of grip, but it's not going overboard, because we are going to be most likely on some roads. Last year we started with like a 5K urban O where we were on roads for most of that. So you just want something that's kind of a nice all around shoe, and that's comfortable. So that's what I'm going to use. You guys use whatever you want, but that's just a starting point. Again, I'm not here to sell you stuff. I'm just giving you a piece of data to use. Also, in all of my shoes, I take out the factory insoles and put in this aftermarket insole. This is a Superfeet insole. It just gives my foot a little bit more support. It has like a nice rigid plastic arch support. This just works better for me because for whatever reason, my feet are kind of like, they don't have a lot of fat on the bottom of them. I've worked with a couple podiatrists at Alpine Shop here in St. Louis, or podiatry, I don't know, some feet people. And they've recommended these insoles, and they've just really helped me out. So anyway, that's something to consider if you're having foot issues. Consider swapping out your factory insoles for an aftermarket insole. Just another option for you. This is a shoe. This is the Speed Cross. This is what I would use for maybe a longer race. It's got a little bit more like stack to it, so more just stuff in the heel to kind of cushion impact. Then I also wanted to show you this shoe because sometimes I like to use gaiters. These nice little ankle gaiters that are super popular in ultra running. For adventure racing, they're not as popular because they're kind of harder to deal with when you switch shoes sometimes. But anyway, if you're going to use gaiters, just make sure that you've trained with them before. These ones have a little Velcro patch on the back, and then I've just glued a little Velcro patch on the back of this shoe so that they can stay in place properly. This goes on the waist like that, and then your foot goes through there. So nice color coordinating. That's also what I'm about, is making sure you look good on race day. So anyway, just another shoe with a gaiter option. Some shoes come with this little gaiter trap. I think Ultras come with this Velcro piece back already pre-installed. So that's just one benefit. But anyway, just another option. This one's a little bit more aggressive too on the bottom. Bigger lugs, more spaced out. Lastly, I'm just going to talk about bike shoes. I'm actually not planning to use bike shoes at the Off-Road Rage. It's just kind of a short enough race. There's probably going to be a lot of TAs. I just think it's a little bit faster for me personally to use flat pedals and trail shoes the whole time. But if you're like used to riding with clipless pedals, which means you have a little like metal thing on the bottom of your bike shoe that attaches into the pedal on your bike, that's great. Like, you use what you're used to. So this is just the mountain bike shoe that if I was gonna wear mountain bike shoes, this is what I would use. It's from Specialized. Again, it's a men's shoe that I found in a really nice color. And I've also put an insole in here because, as you probably have seen in Eco Challenge Fiji or any other adventure race coverage that you've watched, you don't always ride your bike. Sometimes you push it for a long time. So I just like this insole. It's like a trail running insole that goes in there, just to give my feet a little bit more cushion on those long hike bike sections. So anyway, it's just like a very standard shoe. You just want to make sure that it's comfortable to walk in, so that there's like some rubber on the bottom. The cleat isn't going to be like protruding, you know, crazy. This is just like in line. You can kind of hike in it, and it's really not a big deal. So anyway, that's just a bike shoe to consider. So that's really what I got. I'm like, yay, I kept it under 20 minutes this time. I really didn't mean to make those other videos so long, but just want to keep things a little short, give you guys some options out there. Again, if you have any questions, just post them in the comments of this video and I'll make another one. And yeah, I just can't wait to see all y'all. We're 1 day past a month to go. So officially less than a month to go to Off-Road Rage 12-Hour in Warsaw on October 24th. Super excited, and if there's any other things that you want to hear from me, leave them in the comments. So that's it for now. Happy training. See you later. Bye.